Florence Velmenu joins me in studio for the review of the international press here on France 24. And Florence, a lot of focus on the US drone strikes.
That's right, particularly in the Pakistani press, because this week Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch both issued reports about the US drone campaigns in Yemen and in Pakistan. So let's start by looking at an article in Dawn, the Pakistani paper, by Mustafa Qadri. He's Amnesty International's Pakistan researcher, and he focuses on the US drone program, specifically in northern Waziristan. And he points out that Amnesty International, well, it really examined these 45 US air strikes that took place between January 2012 and August 2013. And according to their findings, they say that the US has carried out some unlawful killings of civilians, some which could even amount to war crimes. So he calls on the US to really open up about this secret and unaccountable program. Another article, this time in The Nation, which is another Pakistani paper, also is very critical of the US's policy, but it also says that it's up to the Pakistani government to really step up and take back control of its territories, which have become safe havens for militants, and it's because of these militants that the US has carried out these drone attacks.
And the international paper is also focusing on these key Syria talks in London on Tuesday.
That's right. This is a piece in the Wall Street Journal today that takes a look at that meeting. Arab and Western foreign ministers met with the Syrian opposition in an effort to persuade them to participate in peace talks with Bashar al-Assad, scheduled tentatively for November in Geneva. But the Wall Street Journal points out that the main Syrian opposition coalition, which is backed by Saudi Arabia, has set out demands that could scupper this meeting. And according to the Wall Street Journal, it's quite symptomatic of rising tensions between Saudi Arabia and the West over Syria, but also the outreach of Washington to Iran.
And moving to the US, where the Daily Beast has details on a rather inconvenient Twitter account.
That's right. This is an exclusive report in the Daily Beast today. Basically, since 2011, there's a Twitter account called, it's at NatSecWonk. And this has been a very tormenting Twitter account for the foreign policy community because it has insulting comments and also revelations about that are internal to the Obama administration. And, well, the Daily Beast points out that it turns out that the mystery tweeter was actually an official at the national security in the White House. His name is Joffe Joseph, and, well, he was fired last week.
And staying with the Daily Beast, an interesting article about Maria, the little girl, of course, found in this Roma camp.
In Athens, that's right. His name, this is an article by Tunku Varadarajan in the Daily Beast today. Now, he wonders why the world was immediately captivated by this blonde Maria with these dark-skinned Roma. Now, he says that it was really, the media was fixated on her blondness. For instance, the Greek daily Tanea, it carried the story on its front page, Mystery, a blonde angel without identity. According to this article, it was racism that saved Maria, and it wonders what happened to those other children in the Roma camp that had dubious birth documents. There were no details, no names, no footage, not this outrage. Why? Because they're not blonde.
Absolutely. Slate, meanwhile, focuses on Japan's declining population.
That's right. Now, it's interesting to note that in 2012, there were fewer babies born than any year on record, and the population is projected to dive by a third by 2060. Slate says that proof of this declining and aging population is the fact that adult diapers outsell baby diapers. Now, what is the cause of this bizarre demographic chill? Well, this article in Slate points out that young Japanese people have lost interest not only in marriage, but also in romantic relationships. It says, have young people in Japan given up on sex? Now, the national press is calling this a celibacy syndrome. According to the Japanese Population Institute, 45% of women and 25% of men say they aren't interested or despise sexual contact. Now, Why are young Japanese people so afraid or not wanting to be in relationships? Well, they say it's too complicated and they want to focus more on their career and their friends. But according to this article, it's quite a source of concern for the Japanese government. And some people say that this could be, the extinction of the Japanese population.
They can't be bothered dating, according to The Guardian at the weekend. And Flo, finally, a British groom was arrested on his wedding day.
That's right. This is a very silly story in The Independent. This is a 36-year-old Neil McArdle. Now, he was arrested for making a bomb hoax on his wedding day. Now, why did he do this? Well, this was on April 26th, by the way, so just shortly after the Boston Marathon. Well, just before his wedding, he realized that he'd forgotten to book the ceremony. And so rather than confess to his fiancée, he panicked and called the registrar office and said there was a bomb there. You can read all about it in The Independent today. Now, he was sentenced to 12 months in prison, but the happy ending is that his fiancée stood by him.
Extreme measures. Thank you very much for that roundup. That was Florence Villeminot with the roundup of the international press here on France 24. The weather is next, but don't go away. Coming up, we're going to update you on the ever more dangerous Australian wildfires getting ever closer to Sydney. And in today's Focus, we take you behind the scenes at environmental group Greenpeace and ask if their campaigners take too big a risk. All that and more up next.